He grew up in the same mountains, trained by the same master. But while Khabib walked away undefeated, his protege, Islam Makhachev, stayed behind to conquer what his mentor left behind. This is the story of a silent assassin. Islam Ramazanovich Makhachev was born on October 7, 1991, in the rugged Republic of Dagestan, a mountainous region in southern Russia. His village, Burshi, was tiny and remote, nestled between steep cliffs and winding rivers. The people there lived tough, disciplined lives shaped by the harsh landscape, and Islam was no exception. Like many Dagestani boys, Islam began wrestling at an early age. The culture revolved around honor, strength, and community respect. The local wrestling mats were often just worn-out carpets laid on concrete. Still, they produced warriors. Islam grew up idolizing fighters who had emerged from the region and found success on the world stage. One of them lived just a few miles away, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Under the guidance of Khabib's father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, Islam was introduced to a blend of freestyle wrestling, judo, and combat Sambo. Abdulmanap, a former soldier and renowned coach, was building a combat system that would later dominate the UFC. Islam was one of his most gifted and silent students. Islam's talent was evident early. By his teens, he was already competing at a national level in Sambo and wrestling. Unlike many fighters who flaunt charisma and trash talk, Islam was quiet, almost stoic. He preferred to let his fighting do the talking. In 2016, he won the World Combat Sambo Championship, defeating elite-level opponents with ease. This achievement marked him as a world-class martial artist. While Khabib was climbing the UFC ladder, Islam was working in the shadows, perfecting his grappling, tightening his defense, sharpening his striking. His transition to MMA came naturally. Islam compiled an 11-0 record on the regional scene in Russia, dominating every opponent. His pressure-heavy style and relentless top control drew comparisons to Khabib, but insiders saw subtle differences. Islam was more calculated, with slightly cleaner striking and a knack for transitions. In 2015, he signed with the UFC, ready to test his skills against the world's best. Islam's UFC debut was a success. He submitted Leo Kuntz in the second round, but in his second appearance, knockout power. Islam was caught clean. A right hook knocked him out cold. In one night, the hype seemed to vanish. The KO loss haunted him. It was a humbling moment. Many fighters never recover mentally from such a defeat, but Islam took it as a lesson. He didn't lash out, didn't blame anyone. Instead, he returned to Dagestan, trained harder, and rebuilt his mental game. Over the next few years, Islam went on an impressive winning streak. He defeated veterans like Nick Lentz, Gleison Tibau, and Davi Ramos. Fight after fight, he proved that the KO was an outlier. His control on the ground was suffocating. His decision wins were dominant, but fans wanted finishes. Even with a growing record, Islam was overlooked. He was ranked, but few in the top 10 wanted to fight him. The risk was too high. He was too good and not popular enough. That would soon change. After Khabib retired undefeated in 2020, the spotlight in Dagestan shifted to Islam. And Khabib himself made it clear. Islam Makhachev is the next lightweight champion. With Khabib now in his corner full-time, Islam's momentum skyrocketed. He finished Drew Dober with an arm triangle. He dominated Thiago Moises. He submitted Dan Hooker in the first round. His style was similar to Khabib's, but even more precise. Coaches described him as Khabib 2.0. Finally, in October 2022, Islam got his title shot against Charles Oliveira, the record holder for most finishes in UFC history. Many believed Oliveira would submit him. But Islam flipped the narrative. He dropped Charles with a punch and then submitted him. He didn't just win, he made a statement. For the first time in years, the lightweight division had a champion not only from Dagestan, but from Khabib's direct lineage. Islam wasn't just a fighter now. He was a symbol, a torchbearer. The heir with the belt around his waist. Islam's next challenge was even greater. In early 2023, he took on featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound #1 on short notice in enemy territory, Australia. What followed was one of the most competitive fights in UFC history. Volkanovski pushed Islam harder than anyone had. But Islam held strong, using his grappling and size to edge out a decision. While some fans argued the fight was close, most recognized Islam's composure under fire. Later that year, the two would meet again, this time in Abu Dhabi. Islam, more prepared and more confident, ended the fight in the first round with a head kick. It was shocking. A definitive ending to a rivalry that had divided fans. As of today, Islam Makhachev remains UFC Lightweight Champion, undefeated since 2015, and considered one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He is disciplined, humble, and terrifying inside the cage. But the story isn't over. Contenders like Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier still circle. The target on Islam's back has never been bigger. Yet every time he enters the octagon, he brings Dagestan with him, its discipline, its history, and its quiet fury. From concrete mats in a mountain village to the biggest arenas in the world, Islam Makhachev has proven that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it moves in silence and dominates everything in its path. Do you think Islam Makhachev has already surpassed Khabib? Or is the story just beginning? Let us know in the comments. And if you're into combat sports stories told right, hit subscribe.